we go. Welcome to another episode of Mindset Talks. I am here. This is our diabetes demolition series. Well, we are talking about how to rid your body of diabetes. And so we're super excited today. I have with me today the one and only Dr. Deidre Michelle Baker, aka Dr. DD. Welcome. The Elite MD. We also have with us Mr. Michael L. Parks, aka Pops. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And the star of this evening is Miss LaShane Glenn is in his house. What's going on, LaShane?
How y'all doing?
Oh man, we're excited. We're excited, guys. Listen, so this is our third interview. This is our interview series where we're talking about diabetes demolition, and so we're super excited. You all know why we're here. Most of you know why we're here, but for those that don't know, let me tell you how we got here. Real quick, just to let you know. First of all, y'all know who I am, Rochelle T. Parks. I'm your health motivator. Guys, you probably see me on Facebook every day on Facebook Live, just talking about health and wellness. So, you know, I do. I'm your health motivator. So I'm exercising. I'm talking about nutrition. I'm talking about supplements. I talk about a lot of stuff. But I'll tell you, never in a million years did I think I'd be rushing my husband to the hospital on April 5th because he was so lethargic, like just could barely walk, kind of out of it. And little did I know when we got to the hospital that his A1C would be 15 and his blood glucose was over 600. So he was DKA, diabetic ketoacidosis. And so I thank God, first of all, that I had enough wherewithal to notice his symptoms and go get a glucose meter and check his glucose and shoot, to my shock, it didn't even give me a number. It just said high, you know, and so I knew that couldn't be good, you know, and so we kind of chuckled at it at the time. We didn't know we were, you know, that close to dying, really. And I remember Pop said, "Well, what does it say, Ro?" I said, "It says high," you know, and I was like, this ain't good. This can't be good. And so we didn't know though how dire the situation was. And so thank God I got him there in time. And they were able to save his life, honestly. And so doctor said, though, 1 or 2 more days, and yeah, he probably wouldn't be here. And so I praise God for that. And so just to give a little backstory as well, you know, I lost both of my parents. Lost my father in 2007 and lost my mother in 2012. And so the story I say all the time, I said they had to die so that others may live. Right. So the work that I do every day, it's fueled. Most of it, this passion I have is because I've lost so many people in my life. I said, if I could just save one, you know what I mean? And that one could save. So it's like the gift that keeps on giving. And so this happened with my husband. And so you all see me every day, but most of you have never seen my husband. He's not an out front type of guy. And so he said, you know what? There's no way God spared me. You know, spared my life for me to keep this to myself. So it was actually his idea. I was trying to see how can we get this out to people. And true story, what happened? I'm trying to find a guest for Mindset Talks, and he was like, "What about me?" And you could have knocked me over with a feather. I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah." I said, "Bro, I can't keep this to myself." I was like, "All right." And so that's why we're here, just sharing this information with others. And so from that. He came home April 5th on medication, insulin and metformin. For those that are diabetic, you know what that is. I'm sorry, April 9th, with medication. And so we had a deal. We said, okay, you know, you're coming home with medication. You come home, we reverse this thing. You know, because type 2 diabetes is proven, you know, it's scientifically proven that it is preventable and reversible through nutrition and exercise. So our mind was, we come home, we do correct some things, get off this medication, right? And so came home, put some things in place, crafted a plan, right, that we thought would help, and it was working. And his numbers were great. Doctors were ecstatic. And Pops was like, "But Doc, I can't get excited over false numbers. I mean, they're not real because I'm on this medication and I got to see what my body can do." And so the doctor just really ingest, I'm just saying out of spite, said, okay, don't take it. Don't take the medication. That was April 17th. He said, don't take it. And that was a time that was scary for both of us, because now we're thinking, excited because we get an opportunity, but scared because like, okay, will the body work? Will the body work? And so anyway, that was the last time he took medication, was April 17th. And so we're praising God that it did work. And so he was on medication for 8 days. And so from that, this plan that we put together, we said we got to share this with other people. So we started this diabetes coaching program. And so put it out there, got some clients, and they're having phenomenal results, the same type of results Pops had. And so we're sharing their testimonies. And if you've been following us, we had Consuela, not Consuela, it was Consuela Harris on Tuesday. We had Mama Ruth Braxton last night. And then tonight we have Miss LaShane Glenn. And tomorrow we have Beverly Lucas. And so we're super excited to be here just to share their testimony, because guys, diabetes is killing a lot of people. You know, over 400 million cases in the world, but really well over 34.2 million cases in this country alone. And that's an old statistic. That was in 2018. And so many people have been diagnosed, but it's a whole lot of people walking around that are not diagnosed. Okay. And so not to be the dead dog or whatever, you all know, I'm sure everybody on this call or everybody that's listening knows somebody who's diabetic. You probably know somebody who's lost their eyesight, probably know somebody who's lost a limb, an appendage or something, that just died from complications of diabetes. So this is nothing to be played with. It's serious. And we're sharing with everyone we know. And so with that being said, Pops, I'm gonna kick it over to you, and let's get this party going.
Well, y'all know what I got to start with, right?
Yes, sir.
Your picture.
My picture of remembrance.
Yes, right.
And I'm gonna take a sip from the picture of remembrance. For those who don't know, this is the picture that they gave me in the hospital to drink water from when I was there. When I was in ICU drinking water, when they were holding back the ice, I was trying to get some ice. I'm like, I'm thirsty. Give me some ice. Why y'all rationing the ice? And then the nurse got a little attitude with me because he said, we're not rationing ice. I'm gonna get you some ice. So I've been drinking out of that. And so the reason I'm drinking out of this, I've been drinking out of this picture every day since I left the hospital. And the reason being is because I want to remember. I want to remember what happened to me. I want to remember. I don't want to forget. Because sometimes when we encounter tragedy or troubles and stuff in our lives, we tend to take it for granted that we're going to get better, and we get better and we forget what happened, and then we go on with our life like nothing happened. And I don't want to do that. And I want to encourage other people who may have been going through anything to always remember where you came from, particularly in a situation like I'm in, where my eyesight went bad. Obviously my sugars were off. My A1C was at 15. My sugars were over 600. I even had this situation going over my throat when I couldn't even swallow right. And all that's better now. I'm 100% recovered. Just had an eye exam last week, and then I went from barely being able to see to the doctor saying my eyesight is like normal and I don't even need glasses. I mean, they say I can use reading glasses, but like I don't have to have them. I had glasses before and didn't need them, and I don't need them now. But for me to go from looking like things were like I was underwater in a swimming pool with no goggles to what I'm looking at now is just amazing. Then my body is functioning right, where I'm not going to the bathroom every 5 minutes. Is amazing in and of itself. That was an amazing thing. But that's the reason why I want to tell people, because I've never heard anybody tell a story. I never heard anybody talk about this. It's like people are coming out of woodwork now asking me like, man, I didn't know. And then telling me, oh, I had diabetes. But maybe had you told me what was going on with you, maybe I never would be in a position where I had to tell somebody I was in the hospital, because I basically abused my body. I put myself there by the way I was treating it, by what I was putting in it. Maybe if someone else came forth and said something, maybe it would have made a difference. So that's the reason why I'm so grateful. I'm humbled to be in a situation that God chose. He really chose me because, you know, I wouldn't have chose myself, like Rochelle said. I wouldn't have chose myself, so he had to have chosen me. But I consider it an honor and a privilege to tell my story, and I'm honored that LaShane decided to come on this broadcast to share her story. But I think the first thing I want to ask Miss LaShane is why did you even decide to come? Why did you decide to come on this show today?
Well, to tell my story, because I'm in the process of rewriting my story. I come from a generation of maybe 2 generations of diabetes. My great grandfather, he had diabetes. He went blind, and then my grandma, she had diabetes and she was on dialysis. Now I'm dealing with my mom, who's a diabetic, and she's blind, and also she's on she have kidney failure. So I knew that I did not want to end up like them, you know. So I knew that I had to change the way my lifestyle, and I tried it on my own, and I realized that there's no I in team. So I had to regroup, and I decided to invest into my health, and I joined the coaching program.
Awesome. So I thank you for that. So what was it like before? I know you just spoke to, you know, in your family you had people that had diabetes, but I know you wasn't suggesting that you were doomed to get diabetes because your family had it. I think you were just speaking to it because a pattern was set where it was people that preceded you, and you didn't want to go down that path because, you know, the same path because of how you witnessed it beforehand. But what I want to know is also that, like, how long has it been since you were diagnosed? And I'm careful to say diagnosed because I don't like calling people diabetics. I like to say you have been diagnosed with diabetes. So how long has it been since you were diagnosed with diabetes, and what was life like before the program?
Okay, I was diagnosed with diabetes in 2008. And my A1C was 10.
Mm.
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 Let that sink in. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's will hide in yours. Mine's will hide in yours.
Both of y'all immediate insulin in the hospital. Immediately get some insulin up in here.
Okay, immediately.
So I was taking 2 diabetic pills. I was taking metformins, I was taking glyphoside, and I was taking insulin. It started out with glyphoside once a day, and then it went to 2. And then next on they add metformin, and then next it was insulin. The doctor told me that she wanted to add insulin because she didn't want the diabetes, the sugar, to affect my kidneys or any of my organs. And so it went from 5 units once a day, 5 units twice a day, all the way up to 38 units twice a day.
Was it long at like Lantus, or was it
It was the regular
the
insulin.
regular insulin? Okay.
Hmm.
Wow.
And then it had to settle with me because I didn't want to take it anyway. So sometimes I take it, sometimes I didn't. Sometimes I took the pills, sometimes I didn't take the pills. And until I started getting a call from my doctor office weekly to check and see for my readings. And she said, okay, I had to go in like every quarter. So the last time, I think it was November, my A1C was 9, and they were still trying to get it down. So it was, I realized that it was my eating habits, and I wasn't exercising. I was probably under a lot of stress because I'm a caretaker, and I was working under a very stressful job. So I started with Body for God with Rochelle, and that's how I met Rochelle, and I started dropping pounds. And then I said, well, maybe I could do this. And so when she told me about the program, then I said, at first I was kind of like, I don't know if I can really do it right now because I had a lot of different challenges going on with, my finance. But then I thought about it and I prayed about it, and God, he told me to go for it. He said, walk by faith. And the thing, the thing is, I've been praying that God, I don't want to go on any type of medicine. I don't want to be a diabetic because I see what happened. I don't want to end up like that. So it was so God answered my prayer. He answered my prayer. And I can truly say it's a miracle. I've been off of my meds. I've been since May the 27th. I haven't had any medicine. My sugar range is 95% in range.
Yeah.
Look at that. You hear that, Dr. Didi? Disclaimer.
So, y'all know I gotta do my disclaimer, right? We're not telling you to stop taking your meds. It's a change. Did you go to your doctor and ask them, as you were producing lower numbers, did you ever get, first off, hats off to the doctor who was checking you once a week, because we haven't heard those stories yet. So I'm not saying that it turned out, the way we wanted it to, but hats off to that. We know, okay, there's at least one doctor out there that's checking weekly, right? And checking in with their patient. Look, I gotta play both sides. But as you were seeing the progression, did you ever call them and kind of chat with them so that they can manage your doses down as you were seeing production and your numbers, like benefits of the program and your numbers?
So when my numbers started going down, I set up a meeting with my doctor. So I emailed her. So she said, okay, we'll reduce your dose. So she put me on one pill, took away the insulin.
Okay.
Okay. So I was telling her that because at one point my sugar was going down to 70, and it was like 70 before I go to bed. And I was getting kind of nervous, so I sent her another email. So she said half a pill. Well, I said, well, a half a pill, then I probably can do with no pill.
Right.
Yeah.
That's good, though. At least I just love. I get I get it, and I know Coach Roy is right on the phone. Like Pop said, he was on exercise the other day, and he took his blood sugar and it was low, so he just took his glucose. Like, you know what I mean? If something happens, he's gonna take it on the way falling down, right? So I'm glad that we're educated and know what to do. But I'm excited that you took those steps and you were able to make decisions because you had ammo in your gun. And I love the fact that that's a part of the program, that you know where you stood, you know where you were going, hey, this is before I even go to bed, so forth and so on. So that's phenomenal. But I'm just glad that the communication was there with you and your doctor. Do you have another visit set up, or have you had your visit to let them know that you're off your meds?
I'm scheduling I just did the A1C test for her today, and so I'm waiting to hear back from her. I will set up a meeting probably next week with her to go over my numbers.
She gonna be like, "What you doing?"
I know.
My meter send her my readings, so every time I do my reading, it go directly to her.
Man, I like this doc.
See? Yeah. That's good stuff.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So she sees it. These are good numbers too. I'm excited. Just the thought. I've never been diabetic, but I know I just have visions of when I was a kid, my father took a lot of medication. He wasn't diabetic, I don't think. My mother, when she died, she was diabetic, but high blood pressure, high cholesterol. I just remember a lot of medication. And that's another thing. I just didn't want to grow up to just be taking a lot of medication. And so when someone has a life of just taking medication, I'm like, okay, I don't think that's not thriving to me. That's not well. And so when I hear these stories of people saying I'm done, no more medication, it just, as the old folks say, warms the cockles of my heart. I'm like, yes. I mean,
that's actually Urkel. That's Urkel.
Is that Urkel? Urkel says that? Okay, warm the cockles of my heart. Yeah, I'm just excited. I mean, like LaShane, like, how does that feel? Like, especially coming from a family where everybody is diabetic, like that's like the norm to be diabetic and take diabetes medication, and to say I no longer take it. Like, how does that feel to you?
I feel great. I mean, I feel great about me because I didn't think I could do the 45 minutes AM, PM walking. I didn't think I can stop eating because I come from a family who loves to eat. I love to cook. So I didn't think it was possible in my strength. And I knew that it was God behind it. And he put you and Pop in my life to push me over the threshold of accomplish this goal. And I feel so good. I am so proud of myself. I believe it because I'm rewriting my story. I'm not the same way.
Harriet.
Yes. Yes.
I'm rewriting my story.
That's good. On that note, I want to ask you and I'm going to add the disclaimer again, but I want to ask you, how did you feel that day when you decided that you were going to stop taking your medicine? How did you feel that day? Like, what kind of feelings and emotions were you working with that day when you said, I'm done?
I was so excited because the routine, I was used to it because every morning I had to, my mom is a diabetic, so I had to give her all the insulin, 2 types of insulin, so I was feeling great because I hear my mother talk about being on dialysis and stuff like that. I don't never want to do that because I don't think I will be able to do it, because I watched my father. He said, no, I'm not gonna take dialysis. And when he said that, he didn't last too much longer after that. So I know that it's a change. It's a lifestyle for me. It's a new lifestyle because I can't go back down that path.
Okay. I want to talk about when you came off. I want to talk about a slight hiccup that we ran into once you came off the medication. I want to talk about how you felt and when it happened, and how you felt once we were able to get the tweak in and resolve it. How, you know what I'm talking about?
When my sugar wouldn't come down below.
When it went all the way back up to heights that we don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
How did you feel? How did you feel when that happened? And how did you feel once that tweak we did worked and we kind of moved on beyond it? How did you feel?
Well, it was a shocker because I was trying to eat my 3 meals per day.
I like how you said that, my 3.
Yeah. I didn't want to give up a meal at all. So I would start at 12 and so I would eat my breakfast at 12 and then I was trying to squeeze my lunch in there and then I was trying to squeeze dinner. Even though I was full, I was feeling full, but I didn't want to at nighttime feel like I'm hungry.
See, we were trying to give up that meal, Dr. D. We were trying to figure out what in the world is going on, why these numbers keep going up. Oh man.
I need all 3 of my meals.
Yeah, she said I need all of mine. Oh my goodness.
I need the 3 meals and my 2 snacks in between.
But we were I think we were on the phone trying to figure it out, and she sent a picture, and we had her on voice. I think on speakerphone. She said something about this my lunch, or this my second meal or whatever. And I looked at Pops. I said, how many meals she getting a day? And then we said,
and we had to go back, flip it through, and count like
we
one.
had to go back to the sex man. We said, Lord, she getting 3 meals. That's a problem. She ain't too much. Oh man. So that was the deal. Once we did that, found that out, then we got back under control.
I was nervous too. And then I'm sure she was. She never said it though. She never said she was, but my spirit was speaking to her spirit. We knew.
Yeah.
It's
like, Lord. He's like, you didn't throw away the medication, did you? You didn't throw it away, did you?
It's still in the fridge, right?
It's still in the fridge, right?
Yeah. So, but fortunately, because like she enjoyed numbers in the 70s prior to coming off the medication, but those numbers were fake. We knew it. We knew those numbers were fake. But she's enjoyed a 10. Was it 109? Your lowest? Was that 105? 109?
105.
105. That's her lowest. So basically, she pretty much home. Our goal for all of our clients is to wake up every morning under 100.
Yeah.
And so she had a fasting at 105 a day or so ago, and so she's close. She's almost there. But the key is to stay there, obviously. But her numbers are in the right direction, and no doctor in their right mind will complain with a 105 fasting. No doctor will complain with that. So the thing is, we're moving in the right direction, and the fact that she was able to get over that hump and that little hiccup, we made it through together because we believed in what was going on. She believed that she was resolute, and my hat's off, even though it's already off, to LaShane. She has been so compliant. And the thing is, like LaShane, I just make recommendations, don't I? I just make recommendations.
Yeah.
And she make a decision whether or not she's gonna follow those recommendations. And I remember one time she was asking me a question. I know she knew the answer, but she asked anyway. Yeah. She was like, she finds like crap. But she's been so compliant. She's been a model client, participant, or what have you. And I definitely know that that's the reason why, she's experiencing the results that she is. And we're so appreciative to be a part of it, LaShane. And just like I tell our rest of them, you stuck with us. You ain't going to be able to get rid of us. So
Not at all. Yeah. Dr. Diddy, from your viewpoint, what you got to say about this whole thing?
I just wanted to know, Miss LaShane, what's your perspective of because you're breaking like a generational curse to me is how it looks, right? Yeah. So I was sitting in the same position, like my grandfathers, both of them, diabetes, dialysis, losing sight, things like that. So for you to sit in your seat, how do you see the trajectory of your kids and maybe grandkids or just other family members? How do you see this spilling over?
Well, I have a lot of people asking me a lot of questions. How I'm doing it? What's the program? Can they get the information and stuff like that? So my sisters, I was talking to one of my sisters who currently she have the tingling in her feet, the pain, the nerve pain, and this particular sister, she had went blind, but her sight came back. So I'm setting an example for my sisters and my daughter and the next generation.
Yeah. Isn't it like Pop says, isn't it contagious? You can't keep it to yourself because it's so good. You know what I'm saying? It's like the best thing ever. And you're like, man, you gotta do this. You gotta get on board. It'll save your life. So that's awesome, man. I'm ecstatic for you. I also wanted to ask you, in the beginning and as you have worked through the program, how difficult did you find changing your behaviors and your habits? And I know we have slip-ups, I understand, but I'm just saying, how do you feel that these things, have just kind of changed over time for you? And how difficult was it?
It was a mindset, it was a mindset. And my goal is I didn't want to end up like my parents. So I had made up in my mind that I was going to follow it and not give up. So I kept pushing myself. I constantly had to quote a scripture. I can do all things through Christ, strength getting up and walking and stuff like that twice a day, getting up when nobody else is up, and push myself. And some days, like when my family, they was eating dinner, they was eating my favorite, and looked like they was trying to rub it all in my face. And I said, well, I'm gonna go for my walk. By the time I come back, y'all be finished dinner.
I know that's right. Get this aroma out of my house, huh?
So I'm like I said, I'm so proud of myself, and and this is hard for me to say because I always put everybody else first, and I was always last. I was always taking care of somebody else, and this is one time I put myself first, and I had the strength and ability to do it. I said, I made up my mind, and I stayed on the course. And yes, it get hard sometimes. Sometimes it get very hard. I like meat, and I have to settle for raw veggies.
With emphasis.
I know. She did that. I said that with conviction.
Y'all ain't even got me over here sauteing them and things like that. Raw.
We had to take drastic measures. We were trying to reverse. I mean, think about it. 12 years, right? And so when you talk about cells and things like that, the cellular level, we're trying to reverse some things inside, and that doesn't happen overnight. So we were throwing the book at it, like we throwing everything at it. We're throwing everything, we ain't playing with it. We not playing fair, because the body ain't playing fair. The body is fighting. And it's like you punch it, and the blood sugar can go down. They're like, oh, okay, and it gets back up, and it's like, that's what it's doing. And what do we say, LaShawn? We say keep punching. Punching. So it goes down, it falls back down, it gets back up, and then but pretty soon you keep punching, and it gets weaker and weaker. It gets weaker, and that's what we're seeing in your numbers. And so, you got to keep punching now. You got to keep.
We fight 12 years.
That's right.
And so, but the remarkable thing about this is you've been in a program barely a month, and we've been virtually almost able to undo 12 years worth of abuse. Let's just say abuse to the body.
Yes.
In about a month. And now, granted, we're not there yet, but we're definitely going in the right direction. I suspect that by the time end of 90 days get here, I think we're singing a different tune, because even like the changes that you made in the last month, I'm pretty convinced if you happen to take a fructosamine test, it'll be normal because you've been with us for about a month. That fructosamine test is the last 2 or 3 weeks. That's how long it's good for. And so that's the reason why they want to wait 90 days for the A1C, because it's more accurate depiction of where you are. Am I right with Dr. Dede?
That's very true. The red blood cells last 90 days usually in the body. 90, 120 something. No, 90. Yeah, about 90 to 120. So, the last ones. The measuring of the glucose on that A1C is trying to see in the last 3 months, how has your blood sugar been? It gives us a range or a percentage of where your blood sugar was range wise. Over the last 90 days. So it gives us an idea over a long period of time. But I can almost guarantee that, within these 90 days with numbers that you guys are reporting, it's going to be well in a positive place for you.
Amen.
Well, yeah.
So let me ask you, okay, go ahead, Shane, what you got?
But 3 months, well, no, when I signed up for the program, I wasn't even walking. I've been down since March. I was had to lay on the floor, couldn't move my legs. I couldn't even walk. I had 2 pinched nerves. But as soon as I signed up for the program and I started walking, now I don't even have to take no medication.
Woo!
Disclaimer.
We are not saying to take your medications on this broadcast system. We are doing diabetes demolition. We are doing it with, I love the fact that LaChain said, listen, I reached out to my physician. So if you're interested, reach out to Coach Ro, but we're going to tell you to reach out. You know, if you're on medication, reach out to you. This is phenomenal.
Yes.
You know, these added benefits, right? As life.
Yes.
Life, man. That's amazing. Blood pressure's coming down, pensioners. We doing everything around here.
Cholesterol, and so we talk about the collateral benefits.
Yeah, those collateral benefits.
Collateral benefits. And so, I mean, I remember LaChain being in Bar for God, and she would say, I couldn't walk or couldn't make it to class because my back, my back was in so much pain or whatever. And then I remember when she first signed up for the program, had some walking involved. And I think the first time she said she walked 20 minutes. She said, I only walked 20 minutes because my back. I said, okay, no problem. I said, it'll get better. And I think that's the only time she ever said that. After that, she was walking. I said, how's the back? She said, actually, the back feels pretty good. And I was like, praise God. Look at that.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Look at that. Went from on her back to walking twice a day,
So LaChain, you heard Mama Ruth dragging us through the mud yesterday.
Yeah.
I was wondering, how do you feel about the support you've been receiving? As far as in the program, how do you feel about the support since Mama Ruth dragging us through the mud?
Oh my goodness, the support. I mean, the support is excellent. It's the best ever. If I have any questions about what I'm about to eat, or if I have any questions, they'll call me. They'll say, hey, let's talk about it. And we have a discussion about it. And then we make a decision from there. So it's been awesome. It was the best coaching program I've been in. And I've been in a couple of them.
Thank you.
I'm also going to ask this final question about, you were doing this for 10 years. And it sounds like you had a pretty good doctor as far as following up and things like that. But what do you think over the last 10 years would have been great for you to know or to receive, or you would have liked to be more informed about, so that that maybe you could have got to this place sooner? It seems like I tell people, like, these are diamonds you guys have. So I'm not sure that you would have got it like this, but is there anything that you would say, man, if I would have just known this, my doctor would have said this, if this would have happened, so forth and so on?
Well, the thing is, I'm with Kaiser. Okay.
Oh,
we can't be mentioning them. They didn't pay their sponsorship fees.
but it still depends on the doctor. It still depends on the doctor. And I had one doctor who was very concerned about me, and then I had another doctor didn't care. So it was like that gap in between that, where I had somebody who really didn't care, So they might ask about my A1C. They might tell me to take the test, but they didn't care. But the last doctor, I started communicating with her. So I would send her emails, and we had an open communication. I asked her questions. And so that's the relationship, is build a relationship with the doctor. I didn't do that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I will. Like I tell, I've told Coach Ron and Pops, like, I want to do better as I can do better. You know what I mean? And I just think it's important for us to hear, just to hear the voices and see what we can do to support our communities. And then it's not going to be maybe perfect each and every time, but definitely communication. We can always start, right, with communication and asking questions.
Yes.
Yeah, good for you for reaching out though, and emailing and saying, hey, I'm over here. I got some questions. Can you hear me? Yeah, great job.
Yeah.
So LaChain, okay, so we have, people watching. So this is twofold, of course, for you to share your story, and because there are a lot of people that are really in your shoes, or could be. We know people have been diabetic for 20, 30 plus years, and then there's some who just got diagnosed this year, so people are watching. So it's twofold for you to share your story, but also to let people know about that there is a program that they can be a part of, what would you say to that person that's unsure, that's maybe on the fence, like, yeah, well, this, okay, it worked for you, but will it work for me? Like, what would you say to, encourage that person, whoever that may be?
Well, it's like this. We invest into everything else in life. And our health, that's one thing we don't invest in. So so you have to think about it. Life or death. So I made a choice. I said, just do it. And that's what I did. Just do it.
Choose life. I love
Choose
it.
life. Yeah, that's it. Choose life. Just do it. It's a leap of faith, LaChain has the benefit of knowing me from Bod for God, and then both of us are in Breathe University. We're on the accountability calls in the morning, so she had the benefit of knowing me ahead of time and kind of knew what I was about. But there's some people out there that don't know me from Adam, don't know Pops, or maybe have seen me on Facebook, don't really know. But that's why we're having people share their testimonies. Again, we had, two people the previous 2 days. We have LaShane here today, and we have Beverly tomorrow. And each one has their own testimony, and everyone is unique, and so, because you don't have to believe us, but these are people, these are real people, real stories.
Yeah.
And we're excited. I mean, my husband and I, Pops, we talk about it all the time, that we're humbled. Actually, we're humbled that God would put us in this position to be able to help someone get off diabetes medication, or just, I always say nothing gives me more pleasure than to help someone feel better. But this is so deep. This affects generations. This affects generations. And I've helped people do a lot of things over the last 20 plus years. But I've been saying, I told my husband that, and I told some other people, I said, I've never been more confident than I am right here at this moment of our ability to help someone achieve optimal health. I'll just say that. Never been more confident. So we're humbled by the opportunity. So we thank you, LaShane, for trusting us, and taking a chance.
Yes,
I'm not gonna do it.
Yes. Trust is the most important, and I do trust Rochelle and Pop. I trust them. I'll take it to the bank.
Yeah, not cash it
Bank.
That's what I'm talking about. I can't wait to celebrate. When we live in a low life, every day. Did we tell you about the low life?
That's the low life. Yeah.
The low life. The low life is a good thing. Somebody say you a low life. No, I ain't talking about that. You live in a low life. The low life is waking up under 100 every day. That's the low life. Yeah,
that's the low life.
Yeah, so we actually got some people who live in a low life. We want to welcome you there. So we're gonna get you there. Probably we're looking in the next few weeks or so, hopefully, and we're gonna be enjoying it. I'm just appreciative because every time, yeah, Consuela, she's part of the Low Life Club. She a low life, yeah.
Low life.
Put it in. I'm next.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so amazing, and I to me, it's like Rochelle was saying how we're humbled, and we really are. I had to almost see God in order to do it. But to be able to recover in the manner in which I did, and to be able to share with the people I've had thus far, and to be witnessing this in your life and Consuela's life and Mama Ruth beating us up, dragging us through the mud through her life, it's to me, it's like, the Bible talks about in Romans 28:28, that all things work together for those who love God, who are the called according to his purpose. And those he called, he have justified to be conformed to the image of his son and become firstborn among brethren. And so I consider myself the firstborn among brethren as it relates to this whole diabetes piece, because I'm the first one, and from me, other people, yourself and others that we have helped have been born from that. And so I don't take it lightly, because I really believe that, I pray that God extends my life a little bit longer. But if for some reason, you know, it ended to today, you know, I can feel good knowing that somebody's life was affected in a very, very positive way, and nobody can take that from me. Nobody can take that from me. And I feel like for everyone, you and others that we've helped, and then those that we will help in the future, you guys are gonna be the firstborn among your brethren. You're gonna be the Harriet Tubman. We told you're gonna be the Harriet Tubman, Lashane, of your family.
Yeah.
And the thing is, I know we said it in jest, but you know we're serious, right? We said it in jest, but I'm very serious because they already asking questions. And it's a feeling of joy. It's a feeling that money cannot buy when you see somebody doing well off of something that you did. And it's literally my body was the sacrifice. My body was sacrificed, you know, on April 5th when I went to the ER. I was in there for 3.5 days on an insulin drip. And to come out of that and to come from an A1C of 15, a blood sugar excess of 600, you know, from basically not being able to see close up, my throat all jacked up. Every time I swallow, I hiccup because I can't swallow right. It was bad. You know, it didn't look great.
Every 15 minutes.
Peeing every 5 seconds. You know, I was like, man, you know, it was like left and right. All this stuff happening. But, you know, I didn't even really, the funny thing about it is, and it's not funny, but it really ain't funny. But the peculiar thing about it is, I didn't know how bad it was.
Yeah.
I didn't even know how bad it was. I'm the type of person that when something happened, I just roll with it. I just go with it, just keep pressing on. I didn't know how bad it was. And so me and Rochelle, we joke about that meter, right? Because I was like saying, after the fact, I was like saying, this is a really, really good manufacturer that they want to say hi to their patients. The people who look at them, they were just saying, hi, how you doing? I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. That's pretty nice. You know, I should buy this brand more often, you know? But
that's funny.
Yeah. But I'm saying all this to say that all that you've been doing, Lashane, in the 12 years, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't even really matter that much anymore. You know what I'm saying? It's like to be able to look ahead and see what you see. I mean, that's just something you can't, money cannot buy that.
No.
You know, and I just think about how compliant you were. And I mean, thinking it requires a lot of trust. It really does, because, you know, I got to say the disclaimer again. I'm not a doctor. And I don't play one on TV, only Dr. Didi. But I'm just saying, like, the stuff that I knew it because I lived it. Mm-hmm. Not because I was a doctor, but because I lived it. And I think that me sharing my testimony with the world and people bearing witness to my words, and then my words lining up with your life in terms of what you were dealing with, it was making sense. This guy knows what he's talking about. I'm not a doctor, but it was like I was seeing the situation. I was on the metformin. I was sticking myself with a needle 4 times a day with insulin. So I knew what it entailed. I knew that the doctors were continually trying to up my medication. Yeah. Even though my first checkup, they were saying, oh, these numbers are great, but yet take some more insulin because these numbers are not quite where we want them to be. Mm-hmm. And so, and I honestly, like Rochelle, like helping people all throughout the years, she's helped people who were diabetic, but not the way she's helped me, because she didn't live with those people. Like she lived with me. She was, and then during COVID, so literally we like 24/7. We were like, if COVID wasn't there, then she could only see me when I came home. Yeah. But we were like home all day. And so it was like total immersion. Whereas the other people she was helping, she had to rely on what they were telling her. And because she didn't understand the whole diabetes thing firsthand, she knew book knowledge and stuff like that. But she didn't understand it to the level and to the degree that I knew it, and I was able to relate to her and to what she can actually glean from seeing me. So the thing is, all that together, and then getting into a position where the way we tweak your situation, we just honestly, we threw everything in my situation, and then we saw the stuff that was working, and that was the program. Honestly, Like we knew that what I did worked, so that's what you got to do. And we knew that was our starting point. But that wasn't the finishing point. That was the starting point. And then we able to monitor you. And then, of course, because you were so compliant, we could rely on your numbers.
Absolutely.
See, when you're compliant and you're doing what we ask you to do, and your numbers come in, we know that she's doing what she's supposed to do. So now we can make a reasonable estimation of how we proceed next. But then if you're not compliant and you doing the Lashane plan versus this plan, then it's like, okay, we got to figure out, okay, what's going on here? Now we like saying, okay, you got to go to your doctor because this ain't working, or you got to go back on your medication, or you got to, take more medication, whatever, then that's what it came to. And and I know Mama Ruth won't mind us saying this, but she told you yesterday, if you heard, she was doing her own thing, starting off. She probably lost 2 weeks. She probably could have been 2 weeks ahead of the game had she started doing things at the beginning. Yeah. But the thing is, I've never seen her more committed. Mama Ruth is all in now. She's all in. And she is just amazing. I mean, I love all of you guys, just like my kids. And we love you all the same, but we love you differently. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Because I love all my kids, but you treat them differently because they're different people. And so, like, I'm telling you, Lashane, we talk about all our kids, like I said, and we talk about, man, we say we about to make a change, and we say she'll do it. That's what we say. We say she'll do it. It's like we still suggest it, but you'll do it.
Yeah, and then just like volumes of your integrity and just your commitment, but also just you ever that Bruce Lee thing, be like water, my friend. You ever heard that? My friend. And that's a beautiful thing to be. That takes a lot of discipline. That's phenomenal.
Well, you got to be honest with yourself.
Yeah, it speaks volumes of integrity.
Yeah. You have to be honest with yourself. So, do you really, really want this?
Mm.
Yeah. So, yeah. You gotta be. But it's still, even when you want it, man. I know that people come into the office, or I've seen them at the hospital, just in my training, right? And I know they want it, but there's these other things, like you were able to say, I know this is a weak spot for me, and I can't change what you guys are doing, so I'm gonna take a walk for 45 minutes. Not only am I removing myself from what can be hazardous to what I'm trying to accomplish, but also I know this walk is going to decrease my blood sugar as well. You understand what I'm saying? It's like a double whammy. Yeah. So what I'm saying is that some people, though, they'll be like, okay, just give me a little taste. You know what I mean?
Right. Just a little bit. A little bit ain't gonna hurt.
Smell it right quick. But that's what I'm saying. So it just speaks volumes. That's what I'm saying. I'm back here as a cheerleader, man. Kudos. I can't.
America's Got Talent.
A high five to the whole team, because Phil, Miss Ruth, Miss Lashane, Miss Barron, I'll meet her tomorrow. But I'm just saying, the commitment definitely shows. It shows, and it shows. You don't need me to tell you that. You got the numbers.
Yeah, we're so pleased with everyone, and nobody's perfect. We tell everybody this from the very beginning. People say, what is the program about? For the very beginning, we say extreme accountability. That's what it's about. Extreme. If you don't want to be held accountable, this is not the program for you. This ain't about excuses. This is about execution. Right? So that's because that's the only way. We got to be drastic with this thing. We can't be hokey pokey with it. We can't placate it. We can't have kid gloves. We're sensitive to the situation, but we're not. But we don't care. You know what I mean? When I say that, meaning, okay, you commit to this thing. Well, it can't be. We got a birthday party coming up, so I was thinking about having a slice of cake. No, you're not. No, you're not gonna have no cake. You know what I mean? That's not, because you got to stay focused on the goal, right? And so that's the thing. And so that's the, I saw Arsenio put in the chat. He was so right. He said every patient brings new challenges and data. Therefore, improving the new program. I mean, improving the program for the next participant is beautiful. And so with every person, like when we come across a challenge, we say, okay, now we know we got to do this, for the next person. And we got to say this because, because it's constant improvement. It's constant improvement, based on your experience with the people. They always find the gaps, whatever. But it's now we say, okay, now we have to say this, okay, now we got to say this to the next person. Oh, now we know we need to say this. But it's not anything bad. It's just making sure that they understand the intent. We don't want anybody to make any assumptions. Like we try to lay everything out from the very beginning. Were you clear on everything from the very beginning, LaChana? Were you feel like you were walking in the blind? And you feel like you had a clear plan from day one?
I feel like I had a clear plan from day one. It was a clear plan, but I had to get used to, because I'm a type of person, I grew up eating a hot breakfast, a hot lunch, a hot dinner, and it was really meals. So I had to, make sure I get my meals, and I prefer to have cooked or stir fry vegetables versus.
We was doing that at the beginning. We were doing that at the beginning. We just had to take a little dip.
Yeah, I prefer, but when I had to go veggie, I mean, it was okay once I got it down. So now when I eat my one meal, I'm okay.
See what I'm saying? But know what? Listen, guys, for those that are listening, and I've been saying it for a minute now, you control your blood sugars, you control your life. And so this is someone who was used to getting 3 squares, right? 3 squares, 3 hot meals every day. And now she's okay with 1 meal. That's the beauty of this thing. When you control your blood sugars, you control your life. So you're talking, if she's doing 1 meal, that's a lot of time on the front and the back end where the body is really doing some work, some repair work. I'll just say that on the inside. So kudos to you, LaShane, but that took some time. We kept moving that time further and further out. Where we possibly moving out, like, can you hold on? Can you wait till 3? We was moving it. And LaShane said, can I get a snack? And then can I get a snack before my meal? I said, well, what did I say, Pop? What did I say?
You said if you have to hold out, that's okay. I prefer you to hold out.
In other words, it's your choice. It's your choice. But which basically what she was saying was, if you want to mess up your blood sugar, if you want them to shoot up, just go right ahead. But if you want that was what you were saying. That was what you saying. Mama Ruth would have been proud of you. She think I'm Godfather. That was a Godfather response right there. But speaking to the change and accountability, and I don't know if LaShane remembers this, but I remember it. I remember early on, like maybe your first day or two when you first started the program, and I was like, she told her what she ate. She ate an orange. I said, "What's she doing eating an orange?" And then Rochelle said, "Hold up! Why you talk to her about that? Hold up!" Yeah. LaShane, she probably was like, wondering what's going on. I already told you. What you tripping over? But I was like, and like everybody so far talking about me and how I'm on my picks. I need my picks. What's up with this food? Look, that's what we got to be. Why we got to be that way? Radical times call for radical measures.
Annihilation. We enter annihilation.
Yeah,
right?
demolition, annihilation. Yeah.
Demolition, man. So it take all that. It takes all that.
We can't be playing with it.
Yeah, you with the right ones, baby. But y'all got me over here checking my blood sugar doing. Okay, now I gotta get my life together.
Look, they had to send me a 3rd meter because I lost 2.
Hey, I'm checking mine too. I check mine too. I'm just, and that's, we're not just telling people about it. Like Pop said, he lived it. And now granted, I've never been diabetic, but I'm checking my blood sugars too. So I'm doing it with him. I'm eating when he eats. I'm cooking. I'm eating the same food he's eating. So I've cut back on my sugars too. I'm not eating all through the night and snacking and stuff. I'm not eating, I'm eating in a window as well. Y'all see I'm looking pretty lean here, so I lost a few pounds too. Again, that's one of the collateral benefits, of it, that you do lose weight. So that's not, we're not trying to lose weight. That's just what happens, when you control your blood sugars, you really control your life. And so we're excited. We're excited.
I lost about 30 pounds.
30 pounds.
Wow.
Since when?
That's what I'm about to say.
Started November. Since
I'm about to say, since the month. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I was at a stuck. I was like at 250 something, but now I'm down to 228.
Awesome.
Oh, you didn't tell us that. See, we didn't know that. We didn't know that, Dr. Dee. Oh.
She left it for tonight. Boom.
There it is. See, that's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute. So how many pounds since? Because you think you started May 17th? May 17th, I think. So how many pounds since May 17th, LaShane? Do you know?
I was at 254, 55, and now I'm on 228.
Ooh,
Okay.
What's that, Pops? What's that, like about 26 pounds?
Yes, about 20 some pounds.
Oh!
Since being
with us?
Yes.
You ain't tell us that. Let me find out.
You didn't tell us that, girl. Oh my goodness.
Priceless. See y'all faces. Look, Cola Roll and Pop. They like, what you say? Yeah, man.
Hey, but look, we're not really surprised, right? But the thing is,
we are.
She ain't never told us.
She ain't never told us that.
Listen what I'm saying.
Let me say it's real, Pops. Let me say it's real quick. That's a testament to the fact that we're not focused on weight loss, right? It's a collateral benefit of the program that when you control your blood sugars, you control your life. Okay, go ahead, Pops. I had to put that plug in there.
I mean, I was going to comment along the same line, but all I'm saying is I'm not surprised only because what we are doing, we are making our bodies healthy. Yeah. And the result of a healthy body is a lean body. So, and the reason why we're overweight is because we were unhealthy. Yeah. A healthy body, when nobody can be considered healthy if they're overweight. So the thing is, some people say I'm healthy, but you can't be healthy if you're overweight. And I'm saying that, I mean, I'm overweight now, and I was overweight, but the point I'm trying to make is my body is getting healthy. So now it's shedding the weight naturally. So weight loss is a byproduct of getting healthy. But a lot of times people try to focus on losing weight, and they do a lot of unhealthy things to lose weight, and their bodies are still unhealthy. That's the reason why it's difficult to lose weight. It's easy to lose weight now, first of all, because we're not focusing on it. Secondly, what we're doing is we're focusing on controlling our blood sugars. Once we control our blood sugars, the natural result of blood sugars under control is losing weight. And eventually, you're going to keep losing weight until you don't have any weight to lose. Meaning like excess fat and stuff like that. Then you're going to be lean if you continue on with this regimen. It has to happen. I mean, I'm losing weight consistently without even trying. People I actually just came from my walk, and I saw my neighbors. They was like, "You look good." I was like, "Do I?" It feels good, but when people talk about it, I don't like to talk about it because a lot of times people focus on the wrong things. Like they ask you, like, how much weight you lost, right? Now, granted, I'm sure LaShane likes talking about that. I like talking about it, but it is not important because ask me a question that can help your life, that can benefit your life. You know how much weight I lost is not going to benefit you. But if you want to lose weight and you want to know how I did it, then we can talk about that. But just for me to say how much weight I lost, so you can say, "Woo, that's awesome," and then move on with the rest of your life, that's doing nothing for anybody. So don't ask me how much weight I lost because I ain't going to tell you. Okay? I ain't going to tell you. But if you want to lose weight and you want to know how to lose it, let's talk about that. That's all I got to say. What you got, Ro?
Ro got that lean mean machine. Like every morning, I be like, okay. I want to look like you. I want to be like you. Okay, coach. I'm going to the second time today. So
And no. Hey, listen, I'm just saying, Arsenio being funny, he told me it almost seems like if you control your blood sugar, you control your life. Because that's all I've been talking about.
Yeah.
That's all I've been talking about. And it may sound like I'm speaking code or whatever, but I'm just seeing it up close and personal, and not just seeing it, I'm experiencing it. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not just telling people about it. I am doing it too. I have my own glucose meter, my own. I got my own test. I got my own strips. I got my own lancets. I mean, you know what I mean? I got my own record. I got my own app. I got the app on my phone too, and so I got my own graph, my own bar graph, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at how food is affecting my blood sugar as well, and it's just amazing. My husband and I, we kind of went back to something we used to do years ago. I don't know, probably just before Gabby was born. We used to fast every Monday and the first 3 days of the month. We used to do it, but we weren't doing it right, because we would do it, but then, we 12:01, and like, we're gonna eat at 12:01. I mean, we weren't doing right, and then go right back to eating fast food, whatever. But we kind of started that back up about 2 weeks ago, starting fasting on Mondays, and then the first 3 days of the first full week of the month. So that was this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then so we did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of nothing. And it was amazing because we have stabilized our blood sugar. So like they're so stable that we weren't hungry. I mean, literally, like before when we were doing it, it was torture. 3 days we did it, but it was torture. It was like we're just famished, stomach growling like this. It was amazing. We just kept looking at each other like, can you believe this? Like you, and he's like, last night he was like, you want to go another day? I was like, nah, I don't. I said, but I really feel like I can, because I wasn't, but I was looking forward to eating that meal today. But it's just amazing when you control your blood sugars, you really have control. I mean, you really have control, and we just felt great. Still had energy. We were mindful of the fact that we weren't eating food. And so, I still did 43 and a half miles on the bike this morning. You know that. You saw that, Dr. Didi. That was on the third day of fasting. I still did my performance drink, my hydration drink, though, yesterday, because I was still doing hits and still working out, so I didn't want to pass out. But I was taking it easy. I was being mindful of the work I was doing. So I did a lot of floor work over the last couple of days, a lot of abs and stuff like that. Wasn't doing no jumping around, wasn't doing none of that. But it's just amazing at what the body can do. When you give the body what it needs to thrive, it will. That's all I keep saying. Everything is just lining up.
Go ahead. Joe, let me add a little bit to that, because you just brushed over something, and I think that this is something that Dr. Didi can speak to. I would like if she would speak to it, and I'm just going to set the table. When I'm going to start with Lashane. Lashane, she, one of the reasons why I believe she was able to get off of her medication is because she almost immediately started getting into the 70s. Because when she first started, her numbers were up there a little bit. But then, like, within a very short period of time, her numbers will drop into the 70s. And so that's when you have a dangerous situation called hypoglycemia. And so when we and Rochelle did this fast, Rochelle, her numbers dropped to 53. Okay. Now Lashane is looking the way she's looking right now because she knows what that means. But Rochelle at 53 with her metabolism and not on insulin is different from a Lashane on medication at a 53. A Lashane at a 53 on medication will probably be in the hospital. And so the point I'm trying to make is, and even like Dr. Didi, you remember yesterday when I showed her I had a 67, right? And so, and I wasn't joking. I took my glucose tablets with me when I went out for my exercise because, even though I knew that my body was doing what it's supposed to, I still wanted to. That was the first time I've ever seen 67. Up until then, my lowest number was 74. I had never seen anything 60 anything. So yesterday, for the last 3 days, I haven't had anything over 100 for the last 3 days. Any reading that I took for the last 3 days did not exceed 100. It was under 100. And then my highest reading for yesterday was 78. I had 4 readings in the 60s yesterday. four readings in the 60s, and with two exercising twice. And like I said, I was a little nervous only because that was an uncharted territory. But I wasn't in danger because one, I had my glucose tablets. I was going to take it going down if I was going down. But two, my body was doing what it was supposed to do. And it didn't have medicine pushing my numbers down. So that's the danger. The danger in hypoglycemia, Dr. Didi, I ain't trying to steal your thunder, but I want you to speak to that. I can't
hear you, Dr. Didi.
I mean, we hear you, but it's like
it sounds real faint.
I think we say something again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Oh yeah, that's better.
Okay, I'm sorry. Maybe I got too close. But no, there's no thunder to be stolen. I love the fact that you guys are educated. You know exactly what's happening with your body. And then you also know medication hypoglycemia and your body when you're fasting hypoglycemia is different things, because when your body goes into fasting, there's a kickback between insulin and glucagon, right? So then glucagon's like, okay, tag, I'm in. And what it does is the storage that we talked about, we're losing weight. This insulin is the storage buddy. So now that it's not working, glucagon is working. Now it's going to tear the storage down so it can put sugar where it needs. The primary place, your brain, things like that. All of your organs require glucose, but it's like primary creme of the creme that the brain gets glucose. So by any means necessary, the body's going to get glucose. So when that particular hormone kicks in, it's going in the body and it's taking storage from proteins, carbs, and everything else that has been stored because you have eaten excess of it. So it's put it into storage places. So now it's breaking it down into little chains so that the body can get glucose. So when you're fasting and you're fasting for several days, then that's what's happening. That your body's still going to get glucose. It's not going to have these ginormous spikes because it's going to continue to break down and give the body what it needs in order to do that. That's why they tell most people, right? Like, don't be going to run no marathon after you fasted for 3 days.
Right.
It can still be detrimental. Don't think I'm saying that. It can still be detrimental. You're putting the body in this excess. You going to run. You've seen people pass out, right? And then they, you're like, what happened to you? So you want to be mindful, but at the same time, the body is working for that benefit. And it's breaking down those stores, and it's going to provide the body with glucose. You guys do be mindful. In the 50s, but Coach Ro knew her body. She wasn't feeling faint. She wasn't feeling. I asked her. I said, "How are you feeling?" and things like that, just to see. And she said she felt great. So just continue to let the body do rest. And if you know that you're doing 40, 50 miles on the bike, Coach Ro know, like, okay, I'm gonna put some nutrition in my body to myself.
Yeah, I did do that. I did that. Like I said, I didn't do no jumping around. I was mindful of what I was doing. But I did the 40 miles, but I was sitting on a bike. I wasn't really pushing it hard. And then I did floor exercises. I did do some squats. I told Pops it was a 10-minute hit. It was supposed to be legs and abs. Yeah. I did 2 rounds of squats. I said, that's enough of standing. I did floor for the rest just to be safe. I recognized it was day 3 of a fast, and I hadn't really had anything. So, but
Yeah, but if you feel yourself getting lethargic, you're tired and things like that, you have diabetes, you're on medication, check your blood sugar and do those necessary things. And most people know what those interventions are, some sugary, some sweet, carbs, to just get that boost, back up. If you are on medication currently, you're not involved in the program. Y'all know I'm always advocating for this, and I know we're over our time, but family members need to know what these symptoms look like. If I haven't stressed anything else, Coach Ro was a huge, part of Pops making it to right here, because she was educated. She knew some things, so she intervened in certain ways, and I think that's phenomenal. So when you're on this call and you're listening to us, tell somebody about it. Have family watch it with you so that they can hear these little tidbits, tidbits of knowing what hypoglycemia looks like. play the first one again so you know what hyperglycemia looks like. What do you do if this was happening? My mom's sleeping a lot. My dad's sleeping a lot. They didn't come out, whatever. The kids need to know. So all of the secrets, prayerfully, I hope this open discussion is not just open here, but hopefully it's open in your homes too. So people can get educated and start doing some phenomenal things just in their families, breaking chains. But also while you're going through it and you're trying to figure it out, people know how to help you along the way.
Yeah.
Amen.
Good stuff.
Amen.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Any final words, LaShane? Anything you'd like to say to anybody, the people, or just I know you got some friends watching and family members maybe, or just anything before we close it out.
Just do it.
I love
it.
Hey, they didn't pay their sponsorship fees either.
They take these sponsorships.
Yeah. Well, as always, Dr. DD, the Elite MD, we thank you for being with us. Our resident physician, Dr. DD. Want to thank LaShane for taking time out of your life and considering this important enough to be on and share. I pray that the right person is listening, and that at least one life will be saved as a result of your testimony. And I thank you all. And Rochelle, I thank you too, but go ahead. What you got? She waited for me to say something.
No, I was waiting. I was like, what?
I'll tell you when you get off.
Hey guys, this has been awesome. 3 wonderful women, 3 wonderful testimonies, and 1 more to go tomorrow. So guys, if you're tuning in, make sure you tune in. We got Beverly Lucas tomorrow, same place, same time, same bat channel, here tomorrow with us. It's going to be great. She has a wonderful testimony as well. So that's it. Again, I know we dropped the link in there several times. If you're interested, if you know somebody who's interested in the program, just set up a free consultation, right? We just do a consultation. It's a Zoom call, and we just talk about it and see if you're fit for the program, or if we're a fit for you, and so just seeing we can proceed from there. But that's it. I'm excited. I'm excited about what's happening in each of these ladies' lives. Thank you again, Dr. Didi, for just being a part. You definitely add so much value. I mean, you make this what it is. We can't do this without you. And so you're able to break that thing down and make it so everybody can understand. And so we thank you for just going on this ride with us. So that's it, guys. Tune in tomorrow. That's all we got. This is our episode of Mindset Talks, the interview series with the Diabetes Demolition program. And so that's it. That's all. Hey, this is Rochelle T. Parks. I am your health motivator. And guess what? Whether you like it or not, nobody cares. I can, I will, and I must continue to walk alongside you and help you to achieve optimal health. Y'all have a great evening. We see you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.
All right, see y'all. All right.
Hey guys, before you go, I just want to let you know I am hosting a 7-day fruit and vegetable challenge on the first of the month. Guys, I do it every month. I've done it for the last 2 years. You say, why do I need that? Well, let me tell you what can happen in 7 days. In just 7 days, you can rid your body of the addiction to sugar, the addiction to salt. You can get rid of inflammation in the body. Guys, you can get mental clarity. You can sleep better. So many great things can happen in just 7 days. So don't delay any longer. Go ahead and click the link below and go ahead and sign up. We're getting started on the 1st, okay? I'll see you on the 1st. Let's go.